Welcome to The Good Pod, where today we're talking Elsbeth Season 3, Episode 1, Yes, and I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
I'm good. And I am wondering if you are also good, but I guess I'm not supposed to do that. I really didn't pay attention to the improv lesson.
No, that's right. You were supposed to give me a question in return.
Yeah. And how are you today? Are you good?
I'm doing great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say how good you are?
How good I am currently?
Yes.
I will be very honest with the audience and with you and with myself. I am probably like a 5. Internally, and dealing with my own stuff in 2025. But other than that, Jason, on a scale of red to green, how are you? I'm so bad at improv. I'm so bad at it.
Welcome to Depression Improv Theater. I mean, listen, it fits for 2025, so it makes sense. It makes sense. Marissa, we're in season 3.
We are. How did we get here?
When we started this little podcast enterprise on Elsbeth season 1, episode 1, I don't know. I don't know if I saw us being like in season 3, like, oh my God, season 3, here we are. Well, it has gone by in like no time flat.
Yeah, I know. Jason, I was just thinking about this because Elsbeth was the first like good pod that we put out because we were getting ready. It was on TV, so it was something that we could talk about within this world, within the Goodverse. And would you know that when I post this on the feed, it will be the 100th episode in the Good Pod feed.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea.
I know.
I think I did see like in our behind the scenes stuff that we were in the 90s. I did not realize this would be 100. That is crazy kismet that we are like landing exactly 100, exactly on episode 1. Congratulations, Marissa. We have podcast 100 podcast episodes. I mean, listen,
we've done more than that, but yeah.
Well, I mean, for this particular enterprise, for the good
pod.
And it's not every podcast that gets to say that. It's not every.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that launch podcasts that don't make it past episode 5. So I think we need to give ourselves a little pat on the back. And say, hey, we are at 100 episodes, and we could not do it without the listeners and the viewers out there to keep us going, to keep us inspired, because without you guys, we would have looked at the numbers and been like, there's no point of this. We'll just
have a video call.
We'll just get together and talk about it and not record it. But because we did get interest from listeners and viewers that you guys like what you're hearing, we get feedback from people that they like the show. So without that, I don't think we would have been here doing this, recording the call. we would have talked over text or would have gone on a video call to talk about it. But without the listeners and viewers, there'd be no point of recording it and having fun talking about our journey on Elsbeth and on The Good Wife. If you are new to us, if you came looking, if you watching Elsbeth, you're like, I wonder if anyone's out there talking about Elsbeth. Here we are. We're here to let you know we are The Good Pod. I am Jason Reed. That's Marissa Garza on the other side of me. We are the hosts of The Good Pod. We do talk Elsbeth, but the main point of our podcast, The Good Pod, is to talk about mainly The Good Wife, to be honest. That's kind of that's what started this journey for us, is say, hey, I love The Good Wife. You love The Good Wife. Also, shout out to the show Hijack that Archie Punjabi was on that got this whole thing started, because I was like, hey, I know that girl from Kalinda. And you're like, oh my God, I know her as Kalinda. We're like, do you watch The Good Wife? Yeah, I watch The Good Wife. You watch The Good Wife? Yeah, oh my God. Let's talk about The Good Wife together. So that's how this whole thing got started. And, as we were starting, like Marissa said, Elsbeth was on. We're like, hey, let's, Elsbeth is a Good Wife spinoff. Let's talk Elsbeth first to get us warmed up for our Good Wife coverage. So we started that. And here we are. In our journey in The Good Wife, we are in the beginning phase of season 4. So we're deep in the Good Wife now. Like, there's no stopping us now. So if you came to Elsbeth based on your love of The Good Wife, boy, do we have another side of this pod for you, because we have 4. We're in season, like I said, we're in season 4 of The Good Wife. If that was a show you watched, we have a rewatch podcast for you on the other side of this podcast. We're doing it concurrently, this and Good Wife at the same time. So yeah, welcome to new listeners, watchers. If you've been with us for a while, welcome back. If you skip out on the good wife stuff and just come in for the Elsbeth, welcome back. It's been a
Yes.
while. Good to see you again. I will say again, if you love Elsbeth and not watching the good wife, what's wrong? What's going on, guys? Come on. It's also a Paramount Plus. Just
Well, and
watch
it
it.
really
Come join.
does like have some really great Elsbethian moments.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
there are some really like standout episodes with Elsbeth featured in them. So it's not only is it worth the watch for like the show itself, but if you are a true like diehard Elsbeth fan, I highly recommend, if nothing else, like looking at the episode she's in and finding our podcast that we listen to, because we're able to bring these two shows, the perspective of these kind of two shows and the character itself together. And that's, I think, something a little bit different about us, besides the fact that we're podcasting about Elsbeth.
Yeah, if you want to see where the origins of Elsbeth's kookiness started, you'll get that education on the Good Wife. Because interestingly, like when we first started watching the Good Wife for the podcast, we saw Elsbeth, like, okay, this is like we see them kind of fine tuning the Elsbeth character, and by like the third or fourth appearance of Elsbeth, they got it right on, which carries on over to her own show. So yeah, that's where we are. If you want to support the podcast, if you are longtime listeners or watchers, you want to support, you know what I'm going to say. There's easy and free ways for you to support this podcast. You can do that by reviewing, rating, and subscribing wherever it is you are watching and or listening. If we're on YouTube, give us that thumbs up. That really helps us get into the algorithm of other people that are interested in this kind of content. Like I said, on Apple Podcasts, you can rate us and leave a written review. On Spotify, you can rate us 5 stars. We appreciate any and all support you can give us in that way. If you want to chop it up with us about the show, ask any questions, just communicate with us in general, you can always email us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. And if you so choose to, throw us something monetarily if you like, we do have a link over at buymeacoffee.com/goodpod where you can donate monies, big or small. We really appreciate that. If you don't want to, that's totally up to you. You are free to listen either way.
Like what where that's going to is like we're trying to cover our costs first, the cost of streaming, the cost of hosting some things. That's the main reason why we are trying to drink as much coffee as we can. Buy me a coffee, because there are, as much as we want to make the best show we can for you, and unfortunately, because we live in America in 2025, that costs money. So that's where we're at.
Yes. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, a little intro to our new and returning listeners and viewers, let's get into the episode.
Sure.
Marissa, listen, we're back. There have been some changes on Elsbeth. I think most notable for those that I watched this show, if you didn't hear the news from last season's ending, Cara Patterson, aka Kaia, is no longer a series regular on this show. From what we heard last season, at the end of that, she's going to be back like as a guest starring role. I think that really looms large here in this episode. We heard about what Kaia is up to, but there's been some changes going on behind the scenes, and seems to be in the actual world of Elsbeth, there's some changes as well. But let's chop it up about this episode. I think it's interesting that we come into this episode with Elsbeth coming back from Scotland, visiting her man
Scotty. Oh yeah.
Well, there's a Scotty and Scotland in here. Coming back from visiting her guy Angus.
Yeah, who she like refers to like on the fly as her boyfriend, but then says, I don't know if I should call her that. And I don't know if that's I don't know, because we haven't discussed, like we haven't defined the relationship. We haven't had that conversation, or something happened.
DTR as the kids say.
As there's a lot of things that the kids say that I don't really say sometimes.
The kids probably aren't saying that anymore. I think that's probably like if my daughter heard me say that, she'd be like, ew. Like,
speaking of what the kids say, for some reason they're saying chicken stars. Don't really know what that means, but that's the thing that they're saying. But yeah, they had not DTR'd. So or have they? We don't know. We don't really know, because we only saw Angus one time in this entire series, which was the episode that he was on. And I guess there was maybe like a video call that he was in, But it is nice to know that she did go visit him and came back safely and everything and brought like a gazillion souvenirs for everyone.
Mhm.
Very Elsbethian of her. But I is still kind of wishing to see a little bit more of Angus and Elsbeth together to really kind of understand what's going on there.
Yeah, I do. It's interesting that because when they cast Angus and it was, I'm probably gonna get his name wrong. It's spelled. It looks like it's spelled Ian Griffold,
Mm.
aka from Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four, not the new Fantastic Four, the old Fantastic Four. But anyway, when they cast him, I was just like, ooh, like that's kind of weird because I don't think that's someone that's going to be popping up all the time on Elsbeth. I just don't think he's that level of actor to be like, I'm on a procedural show now. So it was weird to me for him to be popping up. And I was like, he's not going to be here a lot, which I don't know if it's a intentional step to be like, we don't want Elsa's love life to be the focus of the show. We want the focus
Right.
of the show to be her solving crimes.
Yeah, but I think that's again goes to my what are we doing here? Question, because you picked a character who stood out in the middle of a great series, brought her and all of her quirkiness over here. The first season, we had so much conversation about who she is now, what she's doing, why she's doing all of this. And here we are in the third season, and it's kind of just like, I'm just moving through the paces of solving something. I don't even know. Like, I know in the first season we had a lot of conversation and learned what a consent decree is, which comes in handy if you're reading the headlines in Chicago. I was like, consent decree. I know what that means, but like we don't even know what her official role is or anything like that. And so I just feel like it's not serving the character at all for her to not have at least like something. If they took Kaia away, Kaia was a way for us to see like how she cares, who she cares about, like have a relation, you know what I mean? Like some other side of her. If we're not able to see that, then why can't we see Angus?
Yeah, it feels like Teddy is going to be filling that like personal life role, which I guess I just don't know if it's enough. I think they're making a mistake by not leaning more into the personal side of Ellsworth. I want to see her on the job and also,
At home.
what else she's up to in her
Yeah.
off time. And I think the signal of getting rid of Kaia and maybe breaking up this relationship between her and Angus and not having someone close by that can be a love interest, I think is their way of being like, hey, we're going to focus less on personal and just keep it on case, which I don't love on a show that is about one person, right? That is
Yeah.
Elsbeth. Like I feel like
Yeah.
we should get to know Elsbeth more and more. I feel like they're giving us less and less of her personal life, which I don't not in love with.
And let's talk about the case a little bit because
Yeah.
I think because of that, because we didn't have like any of the personal stuff really shown to us,
Mhm.
I feel this is just a Marissa Garza opinion. I'd love to know what you think. Um, I feel like the case part, even though we had heavy hitters here, we had Stephen Colbert, we had Amy Sedaris, we had Andy Richter, which was a surprise. They kept that one
Yeah.
undercover for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great. Even though we had these heavy hitters, the case part itself felt like it dragged on a little bit longer than I needed it to. And at the same time, we'll get into the specifics of the case in a minute, but at the same time we had what's going on back at the station up above, and that even like if I'm not going to get personal stuff, like let me get some more station drama or something like that to kind of like balance this out. But I felt like the way that this case was solved by Elsbeth, like she pretty much had it solved, and this doesn't always happen, but pretty much had it solved in her first showing up on the scene.
Well, I mean, I think it happens more often than not. I think usually in Elsbeth's first interaction with the
Well,
killer,
she has to find the proof. Like that's
yes,
usually the thing.
she
Yeah.
usually has like I think this is the person that did it for no reason. We talked about her Elsbeth since before. And while I think the heavy hitters, like you put it, came in and did their work really well. I think we had a really fun time with Amy Sedaris, Andy Richter, and Stephen Colbert. I think this case shows how long in the tooth Elsbeth is, right? Because it felt like a very like paint by numbers case. It's like
Yeah, the
you
case.
kind of guess what's gonna happen. Like there's gonna be Elsa's gonna have a eureka moment. Elsa's gonna find something that she's gonna ask questions and get information. And I think we've always said about this show, it's at its best when it veers from the routine, veers from the suspected. And this really is kind of was just like boom, boom, boom. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen, and we're out.
Yeah, because we're introduced to the character of Scotty Bristol, played by Stephen Colbert, as late night talk show host. It was very sad because he is very mean. And I was like, Stephen Colbert, you cannot be mean. But he, like you said, he played his part well. And the whole reason Elsbeth is originally brought into this world is because Cheryl from last season wrote a book about healing and is going to be on the show. So she's like jet lagged, hiding behind her 800 gazillion bags of luggage, and we meet Stephen Colbert and Amy Sedaris, who's walking around as Laurel, the executive producer.
Yeah, I thought the whole introduction through Cheryl ends up being very superfluous. Like we didn't need to do that. There was no really through line there, but I thought it was fun to give us an extra thing.
The only thing I think it does is show how much Scotty doesn't care. Like Scotty's in it for Scotty. Scotty's says to Elsbeth, "Did I say your name right? Because I'm never going to say it again."
Yeah, but we
but that's it. We could have done that a billion other ways, but that is, I think that is the reason, that is what they did.
But I do think it's fun because I think a good thing, a fun thing that the Kings do is world building. Right? Mm-hmm. They have all these callbacks. They do all these things. Like, and having Cheryl, which I looked at Cheryl, I was like, I have seen Cheryl before. I don't remember where. Like, I feel like it might have even been on this show. Am I supposed to know who Cheryl is? And then they were like, oh yeah, Cheryl was Elsbeth's partner in the wellness retreat episode. I was like, oh yes, that's where I know her from. And I think that's a very fun thing to do in this world, is to connect it in that way. It wasn't needed, but it was fun. I'll say
they love a callback.
They love callbacks. They did like 8 callbacks in this episode. Throughout different things.
And references to each other. Because another thing we see is like the writer's room on the show. And so there's a lot of conversation within the writer's room. And at one point, like Elsbeth's like, after talking to the writers who are like, we would never kill anyone. Like this is the thing. Elsbeth's like, this business. Like whoa,
that was like a whole lot line in the this business, which is like, okay. And I think it's very, of course we need to introduce Elsbeth into the episode in a very cool way, and have her being asleep behind all her luggage was fun. Having her in the Scottish garb was fun. And listen, if you want to say nothing else about this show, the fits on this show are epic and iconic at all times. And we last season we thought Elsbeth was like gonna relax with the tote bags.
Tote bags, the tote bags
are back. The tote bags are back. She had like 4 tote bags on her arms in this episode.
She's back in her bag.
She's back Elsbeth is in her bag 100%. Yes. So I thought it was fun introducing the concept that way, and having Cheryl write this book about all the wellness retreats she's been to, which I guess gives her a lot of insight into wellness. I thought that was really fun. And just to, like you said, get a look at who Scotty is behind the scenes, which if I was to guess, I would say like do you think it's like a nod and a wink to like Ellen DeGeneres maybe? Like who do you think is a nod and a wink to? Like who is the most like who is the most like Scotty behind the scenes?
Oof. I don't know. I don't know. What?
Low key, I think it might be Jimmy Fallon. If we're looking at late night, possibly. I've heard some things about Jimmy Fallon, which is like, maybe he's not the fun, goofy guy that you might know him as all the time.
Well, there could be a lot said about stealing jokes and stuff like that. Yes,
I do wonder who they're winking and nodding to. Which we've heard like the stories about like Ellen DeGeneres are epic. Like I said, I've heard things about Jimmy Fallon, and so I think it was interesting to see this like character of Scotty on and off stage. That was fun. Stephen Colbert did a great job. I think that's one of his like hallmarks, is the dry, sarcastic wits, and he really pulled that off in the behind the scenes version of And
even then, he in front of the camera, he was super mean because he's interviewing Cheryl about her book and then saying, which wellness regimen would you recommend for Mickey, my announcer, my sidekick, who just happens to be Andy Richter? But he's like, well, you have to think about it. Like, would it be his weight or would it be something else? And I just was like, so cringy. First, like, I was like, it's not real. I like you. The thing you have to know about me, if you haven't picked this up, is like, I love and adore Stephen Colbert. Have since I was in college when I was watching the Colbert Report. Like, love the man. But so like, I'm like, it's not real. It's not him. But what an asshole type of comment to say in front of the TV. And then Mickey's response is, like, but my soul is broken. And he's like serious about it. And so we find out that just how like the personality of Scotty. Then we find out that Laurel, Amy Sedaris, and Mickey, Andy Richter, are married in this situation. And also that all three of them have this history of being in the same improv troupe, all this stuff. Mickey has some health problems. And so Laurel is really concerned that Scotty's not giving him any time off. And the way that Mickey's looking at it, he's like, we just owe so much to Scotty. Like, this is what I signed up for. This is what I want to do. And so at the end of the day, Laurel says, go home. I'm going to watch the edit. They won't even know I'm here. Yes. And we know as she's walking about, I'm like, oh my God, she's going to go kill him. Like, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she's the murderer. She's going to kill Scotty. Okay, let's see how this goes down.
She walks into the edit, does a little bit of things, sneaks off into Scotty's office and has a little conversation. He's like, of course, you'd be here for the Mickey thing. But then we learn we have to live by the choices that you made, and you chose Mickey. You didn't choose me. And Laurel uses this to her advantage, puts on a little seduction, like takes off some buttons on her shirt, pours some whiskey, does all this stuff. And basically, like, Scotty's like, are we doing this? Is this the thing we're doing?
Had me looking at Amy Sedaris in a whole new light. I was like, oh. Hey,
Amy Sedaris also on The Good Wife.
Yes, also on The Good Wife in a very different role. For those
very flirty.
Very flirty, yes. Also, her name was Stacey Hall on The Good Wife. Very, very flirty, very like seductress, very like cheeky character as well. But she was in her like seductress bag big time because she is, convinced that like Scotty and her having a talk, and I think she's letting Scotty believe that she's going to seduce him to I guess help him give some time off for Mickey, and Scotty's all for it. Scotty's like, oh, like let's do this thing. And
she's like, by this thing I mean I'm gonna drag you over to the shredder, put your back behind it, lean over, put your tie into the shredder, press the button, and then override the jam button.
Yeah, very different interpretation of blow your back out from what I bet Scotty thought was going to happen in this situation with Laurel here, because she bends this, basically chokes him with his own necktie, puts it in the shredder, because we learn through the whole backstage saga earlier in the episode that Scotty is famous for his shredder that he uses to shred the writer's jokes in front of them. He uses it as a like I don't know,
like, yeah. This is how much I hate you and your jokes. Let me just shred it in front of your face.
Yeah, he's hoisted by his own petard here, because that is what Laurel uses to feed Scotty's tie through the shredder and choke his ass to death. Anytime I gotta wear a tie, I wear a clip-on, and this is part of the reason why, right? It's just like in The Incredibles when Edmund says, "With no capes, this is why. No capes, no ties. This is why." Okay, clip-ons will save your life. A clip-on would have saved Scotty's life in this instance. God, what would Laurel have done if she put the tie in and it just went clip off his shirt? Be like,
she probably have to like go through with it or something.
I mean, she would have to like go on some very other murderous modes. But yeah, like she bends him over, feeds his tie to the shredder, chokes him out, and kills him. Listen, Elsbeth, I think something we can definitely say for Elsbeth, they have some very inventive ways on killing their victims.
You'll never look at apple juice the same way again.
Yes, for sure. Very inventive ways. They rarely do the victims die on Elsbeth via gun. It's always some like other means of interesting, inventive deaths, and this was one of them. Death via shredder. Interesting.
Yes, yeah. Elsbeth brings all of her bags home and greets Teddy. Teddy, who apparently like has a new job. He is an investigative reporter. There was talk of him being a lawyer. Maybe that's still on the books. But Teddy was there the whole time taking care of Gonzo the dog. And this is when news breaks that Scotty is dead. And Wagner is just on the other side of the line saying, "Hey, Els, yup, great, come on over." And we are introduced at the scene to Elsbeth's new handler. I don't really know what to call this person.
So this is interesting, right? Because this is Grace Hackett, who is the new. Because Elsbeth she comes on the scene. Wagner's like, "Hey, Elsbeth, how you doing?" She sees Smullen. She's like, "Oh, cool, Smullen's here." So now that Kaia's gone, do I have a police person handler like Kaia would be? And at first I thought Wagner were like, "No, Elsbeth, I think we're past you getting a handler and you be just on your own with the detective." But no, she still has handlers, which I think. We get introduced to Grace,
yes,
who has a connection to the crime because Grace is a stand-up comic.
She's also Menendez.
Yes, what's Lindsay Mendez? Yes, who as through research, found out interestingly enough, she was in a stage production of Merrily We Roll Along.
Yes,
which gets referenced several times in this episode
with Jonathan Goff and David, what's his name from The Wizard that I don't want like talk about anymore.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes, yeah. And so that's interesting casting, right? That's casting. But to talk about who the character is, I wonder if this is going to be the MO now. Because I don't think Grace is going to stick around. I think it's going to be a different cop every episode.
You think they're gonna like do like the Judges on Good Way, where we have famous-ish people come in and like because we got a Jane Curtin, we have like some people come in there.
We had SpongeBob last season.
We did have SpongeBob
that popped in,
but or like like the detective was earlier. Like we had a different detective. Now we're gonna have like a different.
Yes. So
and it might be famous.
So it feels like our detective rotation is probably locked in, but we're going to have a different cop that's a new person every week. And I wonder if that cop is just coincidentally always going to have some sort of connection to the crime where they could be like an expert on the crime in a way. Because Grace gave us some valuable information here about joke stealing, about how comics submit packets. So I do wonder if that's going to be how we're going to moving forward. Is the cop always going to have some weird connection to the crime? Like, oh, hey, like I'm
mighty convenient.
Yeah, mighty convenient, which is interesting enough. But yeah, so here we have Grace. I liked Grace. Grace was okay. Grace didn't blow me away. She had her line of the episode. This business. I almost wish it was just like a weird camera focus, like
in the 90s.
Yeah, this business. But yeah, Grace is here. I liked Grace. Grace gives us some valuable information, which is good. Yeah, so that's how we get introduced to like our new Cop of the Week format, which I think is going to stick around.
Yeah. And so she meets Elsbeth, and also like Grace is crying because she's just so sad that Scotty is dead. P.S. by the way, God forbid anything happens to Stephen Colbert, I'll be a mess. The Mullen, like you said, is there. He thinks it's an accident, but Elsbeth, of course, is doing her like Elsbethian thing. She's like, it can't be because he took out his earphones and put them the AirPods, put them on the desk. Like someone came in and interrupted, and he just happened to be listening to Merrily We Roll Along, where the plot is told backwards, which also seems really cool and makes sense to me, Elsbeth, that's how we do it because
Wink
that's what we
camera.
do here on the show. Yeah.
Wink. Yes. Smullen, who was like, okay, like you could have written it yourself. Smullen thinks this is an accident. Smullen wants to wrap this thing up real fast, and Elsbeth's like, not so fast.
Not so fast. But then he does of course, he does the work and he's like, oh, there's no prints. So she might be onto something. Like there was nothing here. Someone must have cleaned up.
Listen, Smolin came around faster than normal. I think Wagner even commented on that. Like, all right, we saved some time. Like you came around to the fact this isn't an accident rather fast. Usually it's halfway through the episode you admit that this might not be an accident or this might be different than what it seems to be. Good job, Smolin. You're learning. You're learning.
Yes. Elsbeth returns to the office with all of her gifts for all of her peeps. And we learn at this moment that there have been some budget cuts in the show. I mean, on the force. And they can have to pay for coffee now. They have no one has any supplies. So this is setting up this larger storyline where stuff is not available, and also poor Lieutenant Connor has to basically bear the brunt of all of this from all of the other officers in the building. They're coming up and bringing him trash, doing all this stuff. And at the beginning, Wagner's just I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to do that, which was very surprising to me.
I mean, because he's kind of letting Connor take the fall for the budget cuts, which I don't think Wagner thought anything of it. Because I mean, Elsbeth approached him about it. He's like, what's the big deal? That's what he gets. Basically, that's his job, is to be my assistant person that takes all the crap that I don't have to take.
I had to do it. I was right. Type of thing.
So I think in the beginning, Wagner's like, pooey, you're being sensitive, Elsbeth. He's fine. And then he kind of sees, he has pity. He takes pity on Connor, basically from the prodding of Elsbeth. He sees how much everyone's kind of piling on Connor. Like you said, they're giving him his trash because he has cut back the trash collection in the office, so trash is piling up. So everyone gives Connor their trash, and Wagner sees this. He's like, oh, I see it now. He's getting bullied.
Yeah, and he goes and is like, you come to me if you have a problem.
Yeah.
But I just have to say, stop underutilizing Wendell Pierce in any thing. The fact he was in the Superman had 3 lines, 2 lines. I was like, what is happening here? And also on this show, he could be doing so much more than eating sushi in the conference room and give. I mean, of course, the speech he gives definitely has the gravitas that you would expect from him, and the impact that you would expect from him. But what's going on with Wagner? What's going on with
Gloria
Rubin?
His wife. Yeah.
What's going on with all this stuff? Give me some more. If we're not going to have Kaia, then maybe we could have, some stuff going in on the Wagner side of things. And also, I don't know if this is in his contract or whatever, he'll do it, but with minimal scenes. But he's just such a good actor that needs to be utilized more.
Well, Marissa, you can get all of that when the spinoff of the spinoff, Wagner, comes to fruition, okay? But for now, the show's name is Elsbeth.
Fine.
We have to focus on Elsbeth, and we get our momentary scenes from Wagner when we can get them.
Fine.
Yes. But yeah, I did like Wagner. If you have a problem, I know we all don't like these budget cuts, but if you have a problem, you come to me. Apparently, this works because a guy that just a second ago gave Connor his trash can, walks back up to Connor and takes his trash can back. He's like, fine, I'll stop hassling you, Connor, because Wagner just told me to. Okay. Cool. Well, I guess it's an illustration of, hey, the message got through.
Yeah.
Everyone's listening to Wagner.
Yeah.
But yes. So yeah, that's office politics, office dynamics, which is I want to talk about what that means when we get there later. We can
talk about it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because near the end of the episode, Elsbeth, throughout the end of the case, Elsbeth ends up getting a whole bunch of material from the show, from Up Late with Scotty, because by the end of the episode, Scotty's no longer around, so all these supplies are no longer of use. So Elsbeth takes them and gives them to the station so that they can use it. And Elsbeth says, "Hey, I got us more supplies for the office, but it's not going to last for a long time. So we need to figure this budget thing out." And Wagner looks at her and says, "Elsbeth,
see,
you don't seem to realize Okay. The reason we have to have these budget cuts, the reason we are tightening our belts is because of you. If we want to keep you around, we have to use these budget cuts because Elsbeth is no longer on a consent decree from the Department of Justice. I feel like now they have to be like, now we have to pay you out of our own pockets to be a consultant. And now we didn't get a confirmation yet on, maybe we'll get a next episode of what Elsbeth's title is. Is she a consultant?
No clue.
Is she a full-time consultant at this point? I think she has to be because they were introducing the term consultant last season, slipping it in here and there. So I think that's probably what her official title is now. So like, well, now we have to pay for you to be a consultant. So we have to cut back on the office supplies.
Yeah. So where did your brain go on this, Jason? Like, what could be quote unquote the office? We talked a little bit about this pre-pod. Is that like the Kings like to telegraph things to the audience through, in Good Fight, it's like animated things. In The Good Wife, it's mainly through like Will and Diane conversations. But here, what do you think they were trying to tell us?
Yeah, my big brain got to thinking. I was like, are the Kings trying to tell us something? Are the Kings like trying to wink and nod at us, the audience? Because
and also, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was like just gonna look up who wrote it. Like, the Kings didn't write it.
The Kings don't write this.
Yeah, at least I guess they're still producers though. So
the Kings are executive producers. There is a showrunner that is not the Kings. So I think the Kings are kind of like they have
aware. They're aware.
Input. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe this is like through the Kings or through whatever writer, they're just kind of like, hey, because like Wagner's whole speech is, I know we don't like these changes. I know things are different, but just stick with us. Like we all have to get through this together. This is the new normal, and just everyone calm down. I do wonder if this is a way for them to be like, hey guys, hey viewing audience, I know you guys don't like that Kaia is no longer a main part of the show. But that's a move we had to make to keep Elsbeth around. Like,
that's all we could do.
Yeah, like shows are expensive to make. We could not have a whole bunch of series regulars. Yes, we had to cut from 3 series regulars to 2, but that was necessary to keep the show around. So you either get Elsbeth, or you get, like, if you would demand Kaia, there's gonna be no more Elsbeth because it's too expensive. I did wonder if it was like an undercover message of like, I know you guys don't like that we got rid of Kaia, but that's what we had to do to keep the show around. There was no other way to cut costs and all this. We had to get rid of Kaia. Maybe it's just my brain thinking.
No. I think that also that the fact that this episode was set in a TV setting, and like all of the stuff like with the writers saying, because we haven't talked about what's going on with the case, which I know your listeners are probably like, get on with the case, and I will in a minute. But like we're getting there. But the writers like talk about how toxic of a work environment it is, but basically like we'll never kill anyone. We're happy to just have a job and stuff like that. And so, I think they placed it here in a place, and also the fact that Mickey's character had health issues because he's not able to take time off, and he's like the whole episode itself could have been telegraphing to us like these are the circumstances we are dealing with. Like we can't take time off. It's toxic work environment, but we won't kill anyone. All of these things, including the budgetary cuts. And so I think you're onto something here. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, we're recording this on Tuesday. This came out on Sunday. But if any press had come out or any like conversations about the state of Elsbeth, or if given the state of Paramount, maybe they're keeping that a little under wraps at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anything's going to like come from it, or I think it might have just been like a wink and a nod, like hey for you Jason Reeds out there that are like
obviously because they know us.
Yeah, I mean the Kings love us, like they like us, and for those of you out there that are like reading way deep into the episode, this is for you. Like this, move over Taylor Swift. The Kings are here. We are going to put all of this stuff
all little Easter eggs in for you.
Yeah, we're paralleling our situation to the real life Elsbeth situation, but only some of you are going to get it. Some of you are going to get it. Not everyone's going to get it. Jason, you get it. But yeah, listen, if you agree with my take, let me know. Like, put in the YouTube comments, email us. I'm just wondering if I'm the only one thinking it. If now that I put it out there, is it going to accept your mind? You're like, hey, yeah, that does make sense. Let us know if you're down with my take.
I mean, and also, like, if you disagree with him, you can email me at thegoodpodfeedback.com.
Yeah.
I will
see Marissa on that one.
We will take it from you.
I will take it from for sure. Yeah, but
I don't know.
My thought.
But for the record, it's a pretty high possibility that could be what's going on.
I just wonder if they're like kind of talking to the audience. And Wagner's speech to the office is like the show's speech to us. Like, I know you don't love the changes, but it's what we have.
But and also, okay, but then if you look at the budget, you had Stephen Colbert, Andy Richter, and Amy Sedaris on the show at the same time. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's like per episode or whatever, but I think it's a lot.
I love to see the numbers of like, if we got rid of Connor and did away with the rotating officer of the week, like, could we have enough money in the budget to get Kaia back? Because I might take that trade-off. I mean, I'm just saying.
Even having Cameron, who we see for a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Cameron, and also on the Gilded Age, come in. He comes in, delivers one line, says, hey, Andy. Well, okay, let's get to that. Let's get back.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so after like the murder, Laurel and Mickey are at home, and he's telling Laurel, like, hey, I was going to give Scotty an ultimatum. And Laurel's like, I really wish I would have known that. Like, I really wish I did.
Big old oops from Laurel. Be like, ooh, wish I had known that was going to take place. I probably would have done what I did, but okay, oh well.
They have some footage of Mickey giving himself a pep talk in the elevator, which I found adorable and very relatable, and also it's just amazing. He's like trying to, pump himself up to go have this conversation. And this is being shown to Laurel and the police. And Laurel's just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this is what you're doing. And Elsbeth sees this. I mean, she's pretty much, I think, got it pegged that Laurel did this. So she follows Laurel through the TV studio and says, I'd love it if you've helped me with, proving that it wasn't, your husband, because I think the cops got this wrong. I think there's somebody else here, which is always an Elsbeth thing. She's always going to walk right up to the person who did it and say, I'm onto you in some way. And she also lets Laurel know that she knows about the shredder who's named Mickey too. And is like, that probably didn't sound great. And like, didn't make you or him feel fantastic. And so at the end, throughout all of this conversation, the end result is Laurel giving Elsbeth an improv lesson because Elsbeth has convinced Laurel that improv could help her solve this crime.
Yeah, I mean, it's an Elsbeth staple, right? Elsbeth is going to make the murderer put their guard down by inserting herself into the world of the murderer and being like, hey, I love this occupation, hobby, whatever it is you're doing. I'm into that. Teach me about it.
Teach me how to dance. Teach me how to
Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Sorry, anyone that ever says that, that's where I go. But yeah, so this is a classic Elsbeth move. She uses the interest of the murderer to be like, oh, I'm gonna make you feel like you can talk to me and make you slip up and say something you probably shouldn't say. And that's pretty much what happens here.
Yeah. She like brings up this famous Renaissance fair sketch, which was mentioned earlier in the episode by Laurel to Scotty, saying like, you had someone plant that like recommendation because you had the skit in your bag, right? Like this is the thing that you were gonna do. It's like, luck takes preparation, which he has a point. But at the same time, it's Elsbeth letting Laurel know she knows about Laurel and Scotty and Mickey's like past and everything. And so she goes through this whole thing, sets up a Renaissance fair scene and ends up dancing and says, would your husband mind? And then Laurel goes, yes. And, oh, would he murder me?
Yeah. Would you if you were flirting with would you murder me if we were flirting? Which gets Laurel's hackles up, which is like, oh my God, like, what do you mean? Like, I just murdered someone. Do you know I murdered someone? Which again, classic Elsbeth, letting the murderer know, I'm onto you. I know what you got going on. So be on the lookout. Be aware. It's a classic Elsbeth move.
Yes, yes. Meanwhile, Officer Hackett has found footage of Mickey in the elevator. Apparently, every single time he was made fun of on TV, he was pushed to a point where he was going to quit. And so he was giving himself the pep talk in the elevator, trying to do all this stuff. And this results in Smullen, of course, thinking that it was Mickey who did it, and Elsbeth thinking, no, it wasn't him. And so they go and talk to Wagner, who is enjoying some sushi and not paying attention to the abuse that we talked about before that Lieutenant Connor is getting.
Yeah, first of all, I think I would have loved to hear. We heard a little bit of the Andy Richter talking to himself, but I feel like that would be like an Andy Richter special to hear.
Oh my
Andy
God.
Richter like having a make believe conversation with somebody he's trying to like give an ultimatum to, while being like nice and genuine while trying to give a stern ultimatum. I wish he would have done a little more with Andy Richter, because I feel like the Andy Richter we got in this episode was great, but I feel like we could have done a lot more with him. I feel like, honestly, I feel like we could have done a lot more with all three of our big time heavy hitters here. Didn't get enough of any of them, which is a good thing, because like they're so good, we want more of it. But yeah, I wish we could have I wish we would have had audio in that elevator scene to hear Andy Richter kind of like being hard on himself while pretending to be hard on someone else. That would have been funny. But yeah, I love the Smullen Elsbeth kind of running to Dad, who was Wagner, and be like, I think it's this, I think it's that. What do you sell the tie, Dad? Sell the tie.
And then like Elsbeth using yes and completely confusing Smullen. Like, why did you like disagree with me but also agree with me? Like, I don't know how to deal with that.
Try explaining improv to a boomer like Smullen.
At this point, Mickey asked Laurel why she lied to the police, because when she was being interviewed by the police early in the episode, she said she never said anything about wanting Mickey to quit. And she's like, why did you lie to the police? And she's like, don't start asking questions. Don't start doing this. And then Mickey's like, oh, really? Like, this is what you did? She's like, I just wanted you to have time off and be able to heal and do all this stuff. She's like, but without Scotty. And he dies. Like, it was like, at first I thought, oh, he's gonna hurt his head and he's gonna, but like, it's like fall body bag.
Yeah, like
that's it.
Like he didn't even hit the floor, and they like cut to the body bag scene. I was like, oh, okay. Which, I mean, listen, we kind of I
get it.
Like,
we get it.
Like I knew he was gonna die before the episode was over. It was just a matter of how he was gonna die. Would it have been like, was he gonna go to the cops and Laurel had to kill him to like save herself, or was he going to just have a heart attack and die like this? And yeah, so Smullen comes, he's like, yeah, you know, he was so upset that he killed Scotty that he had a heart attack.
So guilty.
And Laurel's like, yeah, that, and
yeah, because she was like literally like somewhere else, and then Smullen says this, and she's like, and.
Yeah, yes. And
that's exactly what he said before he died.
Which triggers Elsbeth to be like, you said yes, and you only do that when you're an improv, which means you're making this up, which I guess is what we're to surmise from Elsbeth being like, I got you now.
Well, she's got, yeah, like that's confirmed, but we still got to figure out the how in terms of everything else. But yes. Yeah. So this is where Cameron comes in. Cameron comes in to let everybody know, hey, Mickey did die of a coronary. Like, there's really nothing else to discuss here. No foul play. This gets Elsbeth running after Cameron, being like, hey, have you heard anything from my friend Kaia? I can't even say her name. Can I say her name? I don't know what to do. Oh, I don't know. And he's like, okay, chill out. Like, I talked to her. she's enjoying her assignment. She's doing fine. She's alive. And Elsbeth's like, great. Let her know there's a stuffed Loch Ness monster for her later. And I'm just like, oh, this is not what I mean. Yes, but also I just miss Kaia.
Yeah. I think you definitely feel the absence of Kaia, and we felt it a little in the end of season 2, where Kaia and Elsbeth were not as enmeshed with each other. I think the show is at its best when Elsbeth and Kaia were working off each other, and they were having this bond together. So yeah, we're definitely going to miss that Kaia Elsbeth camaraderie and bond, where it feels like we're going to have to start over with a bond and camaraderie every episode with a new police officer, because Elsbeth doesn't really bond with the detectives as much as like they know each other now.
Unless
write the show. You know, I love when you write the show. Go ahead.
Wagner. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Wagner and Elsbeth are because they were like a little teamworky here with her saying, hey, check out what's going, like, basically in good wife language, we've got Diane and we've got Will, and they're like, look around at the firm. The kids are getting a little rowdy. Like, we need to get this under control. And she and him kind of played that role here, where it was like, do you see what I'm seeing? Don't worry about it. But you see it, right? Okay, now I see it. Let me go take care of something. So maybe, hopefully, there will be something that brings those two together, whether it is looking into, I mean, I still think there's credence to your theory that his wife is corrupt in some sort of way. Like, so maybe they bring that back in, and Elsbeth has to like kind of break it to him, or like have these conversations. That's really the only other person that I can see her bonding with, besides who you talked about, Teddy. And I have a feeling he'll be brought in as an investigative journalist to help her with some sort of case at some point. But again, we need like that outside of work, like the poker game, or like, you know, like some sort of outside of work thing happening, because take it from me, having all of your friends at work, not great. Like, you want to have some friends outside of work so you can talk about things that are not work with the people that you're friends with. So Elsbeth, I mean, I know she's going to talk to Gonzo, but she's got to find some new friends.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I love your idea of getting Wagner more involved with Elsbeth. I think it would be fun and interesting if, like, for some reason, Wagner gets like busted down to detective, and it's just like Wagner and Elsbeth solving a case together, like a mess around.
Or because of budget cuts, we don't have an officer of the week.
Yeah.
So we gotta, you know, he's gotta do that, or something happens where he needs to get out of a bind, or something like that. So we'll see. Anyway, back at the studio, they're reworking this tribute, because originally there was going to be a tribute to Scotty saying, oh no, Scotty died, but Mickey's here, and now they can't do that anymore because Mickey's dead. So Laurel,
how is this show not shut down? How is like the star and the sidekick of this show are gone, are dead? How are we still moving forward with this show? If Jimmy Kimmel and Guillermo go down, I feel like
that's like national day of mourning, at least for some of us.
Yeah, I feel like the show's going dark, right? The show's going dark. I mean, there are certain people that are probably going to be celebrating.
Some people might, unfortunately.
A certain seat of power.
Although, no, because Jimmy has this bench of people that cover for him when he's on vacation. So maybe we'll get like the Diego Luna show, or
maybe. But it's like, I feel like if both of them go down, I feel like there'd be a tribute eventually, but not like the next night.
Yeah.
It was so callous how Laurel was just going back to work as if nothing happened. She's like, but one of my best friends of years and my husband are both dead, but I'm just gonna still keep working.
I mean, at least she was wearing black. At least there was she had a black suit on. At least that was happening. Elsbeth walks in. Oh yeah.
I think that probably also does like ping Elsbeth's radar that she is like right back at work and not even like in mourning. She's like, this is weird.
Yeah, well, she walks up to her and says, like, hey, there still is this thing called spousal privilege. Like, you didn't have to tell us anything. And then Laurel goes, yeah, but I didn't want anyone else to pay for Scotty's murder, like myself. Like, I really didn't want that to happen. And Elsbeth continues to question, like, if he confessed, why didn't he ease the burden? And then, again, in improv fashion, Laurel's like, Mickey thought that Scotty loved me. So that's why you found out, which there could be some truth to that, but, you know, whatever, because there were some vibes earlier in the episode. But basically, what cracks this case is the fact that Elsbeth sees trash in her office and is like, that's not my trash. It's Detective Smollen's trash, because it had the wrapper of the shortbread that she gave him from Scotland in it. And she's like, that's it. So she goes back to the set, like sets up the whole thing. I know you did it for him. You didn't I know you didn't want it to turn out this way. It's just like, what are you talking about? Again, merrily will roll along is mentioned. And Elsbeth has like called in reinforcements with the page, who we had seen throughout the entire episode, giving a tour of the studio. We knew that he had the keys to both Laurel and Scotty's office. And it turns out that the way this case was solved is that once Scotty was like stuck in the shredder, Laurel had to put some sort of shredding into the shredder because Mickey 2 had been emptied. And so she went over to her office, shredded something, took that shredding, put it into Mickey 2. And apparently no two shredders are the same. So because we had one width of shredding in one shredder and one width of shredding in another, bada bing, bada boom, case solved.
Yeah, it's almost like ballistics, right? You can tell what gun fired a bullet. You can also tell what shredder shredded a certain paper.
Exactly. Office supplies are interesting. Are they not, Jason?
They are. They very much are. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting way to close it out. I was like, okay, it's interesting. I can buy that. Yeah, it's all right. It's good. It's good. Like, you know, there's will have to be some innovative, interesting way to solve the case. I was like, this is as good as any. I feel like Elsbeth is at its best when it tricks the murderer into revealing themselves in a certain way. I don't love when they just like, I got this piece of information and now you're cooked. Now you're found out. It's like, it's not as theatrical as I would like it to be. I remember like in season 1, they'd be very theatrical with their revelations, with their like they would trick people into revealing themselves. And like, oh, that was fun. Like it was a good way of revealing how Elsbeth found out. But now it's just like, hey, we got the paper that was in the shredder and we found out it was from your shredder, so you're caught. Small and
bye.
Yeah. Not as flashy as we would like, but I think very interesting in the way that they found the killer and the aha moment of Elsbeth being like, oh, Smullen switched out my trash. Maybe Laurel switched out the shredder paper, the shredder paper.
And also in this episode, I just have to say, like, I know that this is a TV show. Okay, I know. I'm very aware.
Put that on the record. Marissa does know that it's TV. She does know it's not real life.
However, some of the stuff that Elsbeth put together in this one is stuff that Wagner should have known or Smullen should have tested, or like, you know what I mean? Like, did they not look at the evidence? Did they not do the stuff? Like, did they not sit out in that whole at the beginning when she's walking through everything? Someone had to know that this man was bent over backwards over the shredder in order to be strangled by the shredder, and like ask himself, like, how do we get there? There was nothing to me that was like extraordinary Elsbeth that could have been brought to this case.
I think I disagree. I think the things that she came up with earlier in the episode of like, hey, he had to be bent this certain sort of way. I think it takes a different mind to reenact the things like that. Maybe I don't think. And
I just have the Elsbeth mind.
Hey, yes, and we have if anyone I know in my life is like an Elsbeth, it's you, Marissa. So totally
I would
agree.
bring you back a pencil with a hair
I know
on it.
I know. And listen, we have established in previous seasons of this show that the cops are not good at their jobs.
Yeah, I know.
Okay?
I know.
In this fictional world, I'm not saying nothing about real world cops. Do not put that on me. But the fictional cops in this fictional world are not good at their job. Elsbeth has to come in here and do the cop's job for them. So it makes sense that they did not figure out this stuff. We have 3 seasons, we have 2 whole seasons of proof that these people are not good at their jobs. And it takes an Elsbeth to come in and point out things that Marissa thinks should have been obvious.
Well, okay. Listen. As we've established through they put a French horn in the show, they put the University of Illinois in the show. Like there are ties to me, so it could be like it could be for me. Yeah, it could be.
We're gonna effort to find out that Elsbeth is based on you.
I know. Well, I do have a lot of toe picks. But yes, at the end of this whole entire episode, it does turn out well. Though I just wanted to mention for Matt the Page, because he ends up being the new sidekick and the head writer ends up being the new host. So in the end,
which again, I don't think the show would be like, because this is like 2 days after the star and the sidekick are dead. And so like we have a whole brand new star. And so I feel like, for out of respect for the star and the sidekick, we should have gone dark for at least a week.
Do you think they would have done something known in the biz as a rerun? Like they could have put a rerun on instead of doing all this
exactly. Like, maybe a best of compilation for like a week, like, just a little like, respect to the dead. It's just like, but I mean, that also might be their way of being like, hey, that's the business. The business moves on rather fast.
The show must go on.
From traumatic things. So we've already got new host and sidekick for you 2 days after the death of the star and sidekick. It was just it was funny to me, just like as a real world observation. Like, wow, they are already back on the air with new episodes 2 days after Scotty and Mickey are gone. But yeah, so yeah, all's well that ends well. I guess there are 2 people that are dead, but
2 people have new jobs. Yeah, great. In this economy, exactly. Amazing.
Hey, we love promotion from within, I think is what Ronan says on the show.
Yeah.
You are like a museum guide. From a museum guide standpoint, kind of like a Page, right? Mm-hmm. How's Matthew the Page? Good energy, good
he was really good. Just for FYI, Pages are on studios to attend to the things, but they also do tours. And in the museum world, we're called docents, and we give tours and we do little things like that. So the key to being a good tour guide is obviously you have to know the walk backwards. At times you have to be walking backwards, and a point with 2 fingers, always good. Like over here you'll see, and not using your feet because people it could be offensive or whatever. But he had little insights. I don't know, have you ever been on a studio tour, Jason? Have you ever done any of that in New York, gone to NBC or anything like that? Last time we were there, my sister, we got tickets and it was pretty accurate to what we saw here on the show. It's just here is where this happens. Look at that. This is happening in real life. There's people here. There's actually working. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, look at over here. But I do think that Matt the Page also played the office politics games by sucking up to the right people, so he didn't have to stay a Page forever.
Yeah, so. I mean, listen, the Page, they really did justice to the Pages. They're like, hey, the Page knows everything. The Page gets all the behind the scenes goss.
There are many actors, I can't think of them off the top, but many actors start as Pages. I know Jack McBrair's character on 30 Rock is based on Pages, and just how vital they are to the production of a show, because they're basically handling, in this case, we saw not only tours to the public, but he was responsible for emptying the shredders. They're, around all the time. They're kind of like PAs, but backstage PAs, not on set PAs, where they can, they're doing stuff for people. So it's not just walking, smiling, and pointing.
He was vital to solving this case because
everybody tells him everything, right? That's the thing. You give a tour, you meet a lot of people, you're in different places, you can overhear some things. So
yeah, and I mean, listen, you come here to Elsbeth for the reenactment of the murder that Elsbeth does with Matthew the Page, where she's demonstrating on Matthew. So you bet him off with the tie, and Matthew's all in on. He's pretending to be dying. I thought that was really funny. That was a really great, fun moment in the show, and that's what you come to Elsbeth for. The kind of the slapsticky Elsbeth acting. That's that is a staple and icon of this show, and what we love about the show the most. I want to say, I know we were critical of this episode and of Elsbeth.
You were too.
I said we. I didn't say you.
Okay.
But we love the show.
We were able to talk about it for an hour. So
yes. We love Elsbeth the character. We love the show. Yes. I just want to put that out there. I don't want any comments being if you don't like the show, why are you talking about it? We do love the show. We just know the show. We have ideas about the show of how they could do better, and we want to put that out there.
Well, it's because we love the show and the character so much that we have those criticisms and we have those things. I mean, if I came into this world without knowing the King verse, without knowing what's possible on shows like The Good Wife and The Good Fight, it's a fine episode of television. It's a fine, and I know that we've talked about where's Elsbeth's place in this and how it's such a different show, and that's part of the reason, at least for me, why it's fun to podcast with you about this, is because we have that frame of reference. Yeah. But we do really love the show, and just because we find things that could be improved or better, that doesn't mean we didn't enjoy the episode. Yeah. It's because we care.
I enjoyed the episode. I really as a 43 minutes of television. I enjoyed the Amos Sedaris performance, the Stephen Colbert performance. the Andy Richter performance, and Carrie Preston, who's always great as Elsbeth, always bringing the kookiness and the quirkiness. We just have ideas, okay? We just have ideas, and we like to put them out there, okay?
Yeah.
And listen, and as we talked about, the good wife of it all, we are at some point in this season going to get that link to the good wife that we've been asking for all these seasons. The one and only Marissa Gold is going to be back. Marissa's real namesake, Marissa Gold, is going to be back.
I mean, sure, that's a little impossible, but
well, other way around.
She was
named after you.
Yes,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
So we are going to get that link we've been looking for, we've been asking for since Elsbeth started, rather than just a mention of someone or a very random. I forgot the guy's name. Was his name Carter or something from last season that popped up and was like,
who was?
Hey,
yeah,
remember this totally like random cameo from The Good Wife? Which is like, that doesn't count.
Well, in the first episode, they mentioned Kyriagos, and you and I were both like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, we were like, "Yeah, baby, bring him on, let's go." And they're like, "No, we're just kidding. We just never mentioned his name." And then we got Carter, what's his face, last season. Now this Marissa
bringing
Gold,
in the big guns.
That's a heavy hitter from The Good Wife. It's like, okay, we're getting into it now. Let's go. Don't fumble the bag, Elsbeth. Don't do it. Make it matter, make it count. We love that. We love the connections to The Good Wife, because The Good Wife is what brought us to this show, and the fact that you're giving connections now is great. So love it.
Yeah.
I'll say again, like the episode. We had ideas. I think it's fine. We like Elsbeth. I don't want to hear nothing about like, oh, they don't even like the show they're covering. Why are they even talking
This
about
is not
it?
a hate cast. It's a love cast. Because again,
cast.
like we said, we love it so much. This wasn't a hate watch. Like if this was a hate watch, this would have been a very different episode. Jason and I know how to have hate watches. Believe us. We have covered other shows that we did not like.
Look at you, dear Edward.
Yeah. But I mean, and
Citadel, looking at you too. Yeah. We hated a lot of shows we covered. This is not one of them.
This is not one of them. So I thank everyone for, sticking with us with this episode and sticking with the show. I mean, it's obviously here for 3 seasons, and so people love it. We being some of those people.
Yeah, and we want to hear your thoughts on it. We want to hear if you liked it, if you didn't like it, why you liked it, why you think we're wrong, respectfully, why you think we're wrong, why you disagree with our opinion. We would love to hear from you. I'll put it out there again. The good pod feedback at gmail.com. If you want to talk to us, you can also put your comments in the YouTube if you're watching, and chop it up with us. There's Spotify comments if you're looking at Spotify, and we will interact with as much as you as we can. If you write in, we want to have a discussion. We want to make this interactive. So if you have any thoughts and opinions, we would love to hear them.
And if you want to check out The Good Wife, there's stuff there for you too.
Boom. We got a lot for you. We got a lot going on. So yeah, that was the case. I'm trying to think, did we miss anything? Was there anything else that we missed? I think we got it all. Like we mentioned Elsbeth bringing all the supplies from the late show to the office, kind of fixing the budget problem, and that's where Wagner goes, listen, Elsbeth, it was either you or office supplies. So,
he's like,
quiet.
But then he's like, and giving you up is not something I would entertain.
Yeah, I was like, oh, look at you, Wagner. A very different tune than what he was singing in season 1, where he was really trying to get rid of Elsbeth. I think he now sees Elsbeth as the asset that she is. Because without Elsbeth, y'all would be solving no crimes. Y'all would think everything was an accident. Y'all would think everything was like the easiest solution you could get. Elsbeth has to come in here and school y'all fools. And I'd like that Wagner's seeing her value now. I guess Smollen's easier to come around at now. It's like, all right, I guess Elsbeth's right. Yeah, Elsbeth's always right. But yeah, that was the episode. Marissa, do you want to fill the people in on where they can find you, what else you're up to out here on these internet streets?
Sure thing. So obviously, if we mentioned here on the Good Pod, talking about The Good Wife, those episodes come out weekly on Mondays. So check those out if you're interested. I'm over on Whirlwind Podcast talking about Pretty Little Liars, but only one previously on at a time. So if you're in for a good chaos pod, that's a good one. Or I'm talking with my sister at the USS Sisterhood about Star Trek: The Next Generation, because we've never watched it. So it's just me and her talking about, it sounds, it's more entertaining than I just made it sound. So go check it out If you'd like,
Can confirm.
Yeah, thank you. Links to all of that is at itsmemarissag.com. Jason, it is a busy, busy month for you. So why don't you tell the people what's going on?
Yeah, October is full of mess. If you know me, you know that I am a purveyor of mess. I enjoy mess and drama on my TV shows, and so I cover a couple of different shows on a couple of different networks. Over on the Rob Has a Podcast network, over on that network on the Love at First Sight feed. It's a lot of titles. Stick with me. We're covering Love Is Blind over on the Love at First Sight feed on Rob Has a Podcast. If you like Love Is Blind, if you're into this season of Love Is Blind, we are covering every drop. We just dropped the recap of this latest episode drop of 7 through 9 for season 9 of Love Is Blind. Me, Asia Welch, and Mary Krakowski are covering that. We'll be back with the next drop that drops Wednesday, whenever you're hearing this. So that's going to be coming up here. Love Is Blind. Interesting season. Not the best season, not the worst season, but we're having fun talking about it. So come on over there. I'm also talking to Asia Welch about the show Married at First Sight. I have a Patreon called A Perfect Match Patreon where we talk about older season of the show, season 11 we are on right now. We are going to be gearing up to talk about the new season of Married at First Sight, season 19. When that comes out later this month on the 23rd, we will be talking about that over on that same Love at First Sight feed. You get the Love Is Blind at. We will be talking about the new season when that comes up. It's like Marissa said, busy month for me. So come on over if you like something that I'm talking about. Come join me. Love to have you. But that's it for us this week. We have a episode. This episode came out Sunday. We have another episode Thursday. So we'll be back really soon with another Elsbeth episode. If you can't get enough of us this episode, come back to the next episode. So that's going to be coming out soon. But until then, stay good.